Hi, Aries. This is your reading for the time period of September 1st to October 31st, 2021. For those of you who are new to my channel or you're visiting, welcome to Money's Lightwork, okay? So, before I begin with your reading, I just want to say that these are bi-monthly, so it'll be from September to all the way to the end of October, and they're only sun sign, okay? I will also be doing the same thing for November and December to close the year out for you, all right? So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, like I always say, I am 100% mainly active on my Instagram page. So my IG is AmaniIfe777, okay? And my email address is ihavakasha108@gmail.com. All right? All right. The spirit is giving me the idea of insurance. It could be car insurance, health insurance, job insurance, like for money that you make. The spirit is also giving me the idea of a Pisces element. Like a Pisces could be a sibling, they could be a partner to you. They are financially stable, the spirit is saying. And I also get this idea of combining your insurance with theirs or combining your taxes with theirs. So it just depends on what you're trying to do with them specifically. I do get this idea that they may be helping you, like that could be something that they already do now. They could be helping you fund something that you're working on, or they may help you with down payments and payments for houses like mortgage and rent, whether this is like for a studio, a townhouse, a condo, or a full house, family home, is where their information there. I also get the idea of a security deposit as I'm talking about this. So I did mention that you do need funds, or you may not want to use all of your insurance or return from your insurance from your job to pay for something specific. So a Pisces or whatever other zodiac sign surrounding you, they are coming in as aid to help you precisely with that. So if it's not only the Pisces coming towards you and they have great insurance from your job, then they have insurance from their job that is beneficial to you, that is going to aid something that you are working on here. I also get another Aries element. So you have another Aries element that is external from you, whether they are male or female. Pisces male is male and female, that they're coming in and they want to combine funds. Combining funds, like I explained, could be you combining your insurance you receive from your job, some type of benefit you receive, government funding, etc. You're combining that with something that the Pisces element received, and you may invest with that. You may put down for an apartment with that. You may do a security deposit with that. You may, what's another situation? You may invest in real estate with that. So it just depends on the energy that is coming through. Alright, Aries, so the card you have underneath is the Eight of Indolence, which is the Eight of Cups energy in this deck. You're dealing with, like I explained from before, you do have a Pisces element that is present. You may also be dealing with a Cancerian and Scorpio elements as well too. The spirit is telling me something about tax returns with the water sign energies that are external. So you do need the Pisces element taxes. You may need their signatures. If there's a Pisces, I'm sure you're probably doing the same thing with a Cancer and a Scorpio element, and something may be against their will with the Cancer and the Scorpio. Like against their will, meaning like someone isn't consciously aware that you are involved with their documentation, or they're not consciously aware of you being involved with their documentation. And I get this feeling, where else are you going to get a signature from? How else are you going to receive some type of benefit if you don't use I get a cousin. If you don't use a cousin, if you don't use a cousin's signature, if you don't use a cousin's identification, how are you going to get some type of insurance? How are you going to get some type of payout if you don't use their insurance, right? So there may be a situation where you, for some reason, your status in the country, something will be going on with like your license or your status as a U.S. citizen if you are a U.S. citizen. If you are from outside of the U.S., if you're from the UK, if you're from any part of Europe or anywhere else in the world, you may be trying to come to the U.S. if you're not already in the U.S., or you're trying to leave the U.S. to go to another country in the world. Something's going on with using the water sign energies, either there some type of identification that or money that the water sign energies have that you're trying to use. I also get a passport. So all of that identification, that information you may be trying to use for a passport, they may need for a passport. But like I said, something being against their will, Eight of Cups, is that you may not necessarily be asking them for that precisely, or they're not asking you for it. So it just depends on what is going on. The starting point has the Five of Disappointment. I get refused. The Five of Disappointment will be that you are either refusing, I get give up something. You may be refusing to give up something, or the water sign energy is. But I keep getting this idea of like a passport or some type of identification that you or the water sign energy external is not supposed to have, or is yours. But I get something about like revolt, like something that you have going on may have gotten revoked. Or it's a 5, so something could have happened in May of this year and you're trying to fix it. Or 5, like any date that has a 5 in it may be really important to you, or that may be important to the water sign energy that is here, right? Someone may also need to reapply for some type of insurance as well. Someone may need to apply or reapply for some type of status, like whether that's like status as in like staying, like a driver's license, like trying to get a new driver's license, status as in like applying for citizenship in another country, applying for citizenship in the US, something like that. Or how to use, like, you could be like a permanent resident. Like if you weren't necessarily born here, you could be a permanent resident. The water sign energy could be a U.S. citizen, or they live elsewhere, or they're from another country, you're from another country, and something's going on with your passport or your identification, or something's going on with you for some reason. Whatever kind of status you have in this country, like if you're in the U.S., whatever kind of status you have, that status is interfering with some type of insurance benefit that you're trying to get through your job. For some reason, it's interfering with that, or it's interfering with some type of health benefit that you are trying to receive for yourself, or a Pisces, whatever water sign energy that's external, may be experiencing this. They could be from outside the country, or they want to leave the country, and something's going on with their status, something's going on with their driver's license, something's going on with that status being connected to, something's going on with their status, their citizenship status. If it's a permanent resident, or if they're born here, you're born here, something's going on with that. That's interfering with the benefits you or them are receiving from a job. But how to fix? So the Five of Disappointment, how to fix that issue? You're trying to figure out how to fix that. I mean, you could just be, if you're born in the U.S., you could just be in a situation where you're dating someone and you want to combine taxes with them, but they may not be a born U.S. citizen. They may not be, they may be in the U.S. on a visa. They may be from the U.S. in another country on a visa. They may be a permanent resident in another country. They may be a permanent resident in the U.S. Vice versa. That's you in the water sign. That's the water sign on you. So what's happening, you and them, the conflict is receiving insurance from somebody's job, your job, their job. But there's conflict there because somebody is a permanent resident and cannot receive certain benefits from the state or the country. So that's you, or that's the water sign is experiencing that. Or you're a U.S. citizen and you're dating someone or you're working with someone that something isn't legitimate about. If you're working in a business with the water sign and they're not like family or they're a partner, they're a family member or something to you. If you're just working with them in a job, something may not be legitimate about the job, or they're not contracted to do the kind of work that they have you working with them doing. So it's not legitimate, meaning that their firm is, they may not be an LLC. They may not have it may be like off the books work that somebody's operating with you in this way. For example, if you have a job and you work with someone that something may not be legitimate about their work or their firm. So what's happening is that you may not know that. Like, that's why the Five of Cups is there. You know that or you don't know that. And so I am inviting you to work with, knowing that or not knowing that, is that they're trying to invite you to work with them. But what you need to do before anything crazy happens and you're thinking that someone is going to want to invite you to work with them and their business doesn't have the status to be eligible to be running it. Okay, your business does not have the status to run properly in the state, in the country, in the region. But you're working with this individual. They may have promised you benefits of some kind, but it's like you or them can't really receive the benefits because it's not a legitimate workplace. It's not a legitimate firm. That's one element about it. Then something's going on here with citizenship and being a permanent resident or being someone who is somewhere on a visa. So that's between you and the water sign, or that's something that you have going on directly and you're just sharing that with the water sign. Or something's going on with you. You're dating someone's dating you, and you're trying to combine taxes and insurance, or you're just trying to get some type of insurance through somebody's job, your own job. But there's an issue with somewhere that you work. If something isn't legitimate about it, which means that that firm cannot apply to have their workers. Okay, the firm that you're working for, they cannot apply, or they don't have the license to have people contracted for them precisely, so that those people that they have contracted to work with them can receive some type of benefit or receive insurance. Somebody doesn't have that status because the person that may be running the business may be from outside the country, outside of the U.S., vice versa. Wow. So that could just be something that you're trying to do. Like, if it's not happening to you, it's external, where you want to do or receive something from someone or a firm or a corporation external, but something is interesting that's not legit that's going on with that external corporation or that business that the water sign energy is dealing with, or you're dealing with directly with them. It just depends on what's going on. Okay, so the Three of Swords energy is in the waiting position. So Three of Swords brings in the energy of air sign, but if you're dealing with an air sign, I do get this idea of trying to explain something to them. If it's an Aquarian, if it's a Libra, Gemini energy, you could be trying to explain something to them. But taxes, you're trying to explain something to them about taxes, or taxes that it can't go to them. There's money that they're not going to receive if it's an air sign that you're interacting with, or the air sign is trying to tell you, I can't do this for you. The air sign is telling you, I can't do this for you because you are a permanent resident. You are not a citizen here. Or you are a citizen. I keep getting this idea of revoke. You are a citizen and something's going on, revoke with somebody's citizenship for whatever reason. And that could be because that could be one reason why that may be happening is because of firm. It has to do with a firm that you work for, or who created the firm, like the people that run the firm, the people that run the corporation that you are intertwining your information with. Something is faulty there, and the air sign is telling you, because you have your stuff tied in this office, because you have your documentation, or even because even because this office or this corporation, this organization, because they now have your information, they have your documentation, I can't process this document for you. I can't do this for you. So the idea is to go elsewhere. It has something to do with receiving some type of insurance. Like, it has something to do with receiving insurance from a legitimate source, basically. That's what's happening. And something about the source is not, something about the source meaning the corporation or the agency, something about the source is not from the US, vice versa. It's happening in another country. Something about the source is not in the US. It wasn't created in the US. Something about the person running it or initiating it with you, something isn't legitimate about their citizenship that they have. So if it's not you that is happening to like that, you are intertwined with a business or a corporation or organization or agency or a person that they don't have the status to have something operate. It's inoperable. They don't have the status to have something operate in your region or in your country, in your area. But Five of Cups, you don't know that. And you're one element, thinking that you do, or thinking that you can get something done through a particular agency, corporation, organization, or your job directly, thinking that you can do something like that. The Three of Swords, you're going to someone, and I had a brick wall. You're going to someone, and it's like you hitting a brick wall, pretty much, with trying to present them with some type of documentation that they can't process for you. You may have faxed it to them, and some of them they realize that I get a signature. You faxed it to them, and something isn't right about the signature. It's not stamped. You may not have stamped it, or you're somewhere that you're working, they didn't stamp it for you. Or they can't stamp it for you because they don't have the rights or the license to stamp it for you. But something along those lines you don't know, or you're going to find out, okay? With whatever it is that you're doing. The Temperance energy is here to sign a Sag. There's art, right? So you may be dealing with creative Sagittarian energy. I was picking up Sag. Pisces, you have water sign, right? You're doing something with them. Something like this could be happening to them directly, but a Sag is here. Right? Sag is here. Temperance because of brick wall that I just said just now. Something could be going on with them. But I get the firm they work for. Something is going on with the firm that they work for. So what you're trying to do with insurance and money may be coming through from the Sag. But something that you don't know about their firm that they do work for, something that is going on with your firm that they don't know yet. I get screwed. So when I say that, somebody may get screwed, not sex screw. Someone may get screwed. Yeah, you could be screwing somebody like that, but screw, as in Three of Swords, Five of Cups, like somebody may get screwed over, if that's the case. So you are the Sag, or the water sign. The water sign, I feel like, it doesn't know. The water sign doesn't know something. The water sign doesn't know something that is happening. So if they don't, one thing, it has to do with paperwork, like Spirit is trying to help me. If the water sign not knowing something, it has to do with paperwork that they're presenting you with, or their paperwork that they're asking you to take somewhere, or paperwork they ask the Sag to take somewhere. Or they could have asked the Sag, can you process? They could have asked the Sag, can you process this for me? But you're involved because the paperwork is going through you. You're giving it to the Sag. The water sign is going through to the Sagittarian energy directly to process some type of documentation, and it's not legitimate. Someone doesn't have the license or the right to do so, and that's either something you don't know. That's something that the water sign energy or the Sag. Somebody doesn't know that here, and it has something to do with an intercultural. It has something to the logistics have something to do with some type of intercultural affair that somebody has going on here. It's something that's intercultural about it. That somebody can't process. It's intercultural. Somebody can't process it. Like, it's, okay, intercultural, or what would you, well, intercultural is the right term. It's coming, more than one country. Intercultural in the sense where, for example, if I have paperwork, I'll give you a perfect example. Like, if I used to live in Barbados when I was 14 years old, and I needed my transcripts from school to be processed in New York City, so that I can go to, when I was in high school, so I can go to the next grade. That for some time was a conflict. So somebody may be trying to do something like that, but it has to do with insurance. Like, if you have the insurance in one country, trying to take it to another country, I get for profit. So it has something to do with sending it to another country for profit. So that could be something, that's a business idea that was proposed to you by a water sign. That's a business I run with. That's a business initiative that you run with a Sag. So taking documentation and selling it in another country, getting insurance and selling it and using it in another country somehow. But I also get property investment. The reason why that's happening is because of property investment. A Sag may have a property in another country. You may have a property in another country. So, but people are trying to tie insurance benefits like interculturally. So from country to country, between the U.S. and the Bahamas, between the U.S. and Caracal, between the U.S. and Dominica. I'm just giving examples. So, for example, if you own a home in another country, state, you can own it may be like happening domestically, like within the United States with states, and you have a property in another state, or they do, and someone's going on with the insurance with that. Someone's going on with the insurance with that, needing copies for the insurance with that, getting it processed by a legitimate source. Somebody may need to be careful with how they get that done as well, too. But I also get this interesting idea of somebody finding out where someone lives. Like, you may not want someone to find out where you live, or the Sag doesn't, or you live with the Sag and you don't, both of you, somebody doesn't want the other to find out where someone lives. Or someone's going on with the water sign. The water sign partner, one water sign energy is your partner to some extent. They're like family or something, or they're your partner and they help you. Sag could be the same thing. But yet one lies. So when I say the Sag and the water sign, one of them, somebody along their lies. Is it a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Sag? Somebody lies along those lines with something that you're doing with them here, or you're doing singularly by yourself. The Knight of Swords is in the future. And then you have the instincts as the Prince of Wands energy. So the Prince of Wands, for example, if you're 30-something years old, Prince of Wands could be younger than you, like 20-something, or like a kid, you know. They're a prince of some kind, right? Prince of Wands energy. Prince of Wands, a Sag could be younger than you know, or they're older, they're around the same age group as you, or it's your child, or somebody's kid. It could be the Sagittarian energy's child, or they're another family member, their cousin, you know. Somebody may know where you live. Like, you may be trying to hide something from a Prince of Wands energy, and for some reason if it's the Prince of Wands, if it's the Prince of Wands energy, you may not know where, you either don't know where they live, or I also don't want to know. You don't want to know where they live. Or, like, somebody may be trying to hide, I'm trying to understand. Somebody may be trying to hide from you, or I get a business. Somebody may be trying to hide from you, but the reason why they're hiding from you is because of business. Like, you being in their business, or you being in their business, them being in yours, or it has something to do with working with them, don't want to work with. I'm looking at the Prince of Wands. You either don't want to work with them, or they don't want to work with you. Temperance energy, 5 of Cups, 3 of Swords. They may be hiding. You may be confused as to why they're hiding from you. But it's important. So, as I'm talking about it, it's really important. Be found. It's really important that the Prince of Wands energy be found. Like, you find them. It's important for them. You could be moving really interesting here, and it's them that's looking for you, and you can't be found. They don't want you to be you are moving really interesting, and they're looking for you. or they're moving really interesting, you're looking for them. But it has to do with paperwork, it has to do with insurance, and or an insurance agency or a company, or doing business with them. I get sold. It has to do with selling things. Like, it may have something to do with selling things, like I said, in another country, selling things in another state, selling things from state to state, town to town, province to province, region to region, selling things like that. But it has to do, one situation has to do with documentation. Oh, okay, I understand. So if for some reason you're unable to take some type of documentation somewhere that you feel is going to get revoked, or they're not going to pay attention to, they're not going to process for you, someone, I get underhanded, something maybe underhanded about that, or you're trying to give yourself an alternative, someone external is trying to give themselves an alternative to get some type of documentation process. So what's happening is that they're seeking, I'm looking at the Prince of Wands, they're seeking you to get that done. You are seeking them to get that done. But it's underhanded, which means that there's a percentage of how you're moving with them that's illegal. It's happening underhandedly. It's happening underhanded, right? Because you went somewhere and they're not you went somewhere, somebody's refusing to take some type of documentation, or that happened to a Sag. And one element is because somebody either went, one element about it, somebody either went out of the country, or they're not from the US, they're not from the US, or they're from another country, right? That's one element why that's happening. That's one element why, but it has a lot to do with insurance and possibly buying a home. Somebody, you're not wanting someone to know where you live, or they're hiding from you because of that exact situation, okay? If it's the Prince of Wands energy. But it's home related. It's also insurance company, agency, corporation related. Receiving some type of insurance through your job, or the water sign energy job, or the Sag, something's going on with things, and insurance being tied there for your personal self, their personal self, or it has a lot to do with buying a property out of state. It does have to do with buying a property out of state, but something isn't legitimate about, like, some type of documentation, or something isn't on the documentation in order for it to be processed in another state, in order for somebody to get, like, what do you call it, like, it can be somebody's marriage status and being separated from someone, yours, theirs, or, like, what's another, buying a home. You could try and explain, like, if the Sag isn't necessarily your partner, you could be, I get divorced. You could be divorcing them, or you may need to divorce them, or they're tied to someone, and you're saying they're tied to someone, and you're telling them that they may need to get a divorce, or they need to separate. But I keep getting an idea of conflict. So if you're doing that to them, that may cause conflict. If you're explaining to them that they need to get that, they need to do that, it's creating conflict. Why won't they do? So as I'm talking about it, you don't understand why they won't do something. You don't understand why they won't do it, or they, like, refusing to divorce someone that they're tied to. They're refusing to leave someone, separate from someone. But I keep getting documentation. The reason for it is because documentation is, I get too intertwined. Documentation is too intertwined, placing emphasis on two, meaning two, T-O-O, two. Is too intertwined, meaning that who they're tied to, if they're not your direct partner only, who they're tied to, I get mischievous. They may be tied to someone that is mischievous, or you think that person is mischievous, or they're sneaky, someone that the Sag is tied to, or you're tied to them, somebody has that thought, or you think that they're moving that way with you, or it's the Prince of Wands energy that they're tied to, you're tied to. But it's like, somebody's information and documentation is too deep in it's too deep in the process for them to even want to break some type of procedure. But you're trying to explain to them that you can help them, but they're nervous. You're telling them, I can help you do this, that, and the third, but they're nervous to break some type of deal off with someone that they were tied to before, or you were tied to before, whatever it is. The Six of Success is here. That's the Six of Pentacles next to the Five of Disappointment. Right? So whereas something may have been disappointing to you, there is a Six of Pentacles there. That's charity that could be coming in from the Sag. But I get found out how to do something. So they did find out how to do something. And that could be through the help of a water sign, or that's the help of a Prince of Wands. But I get disappeared after helping. So the Prince of Wands, they disappeared, or they want to disappear after helping you, or after helping a Sag, or helping a water sign. Like somebody wants to disappear after helping somebody. So that could be, I get anonymous partner. Sag could be your anonymous partner, or you're telling someone you don't have a partner but you do, and it's a Sag, but you consider them to be anonymous because I get documentation isn't present. Their documentation is not present in a file. So they're considered an anonymous partner, or the Sag has an anonymous partner that wants to disappear from them. And that could be the Prince of Wands, or just something that they said. The Prince of Wands energy, that's something that they said. They said that they wanted to disappear from someone, you or a Sag or whoever. They said they wanted to disappear from someone after helping them. Or they're going to disappear after helping somebody. Whatever that means. Right? So they could have said, if they're not the Sag element partner or yours directly, then they said that about a Sagittarian energy's anonymous partner. You could be the Sagittarian energy's anonymous partner, and they're coming in and they're helping you or the Sag, and you're the one that's anonymous because of documentation. So it just depends on what's going on. The Seven of Swords energy is the spiritual self, is right next to the Three of Swords. So like I said, somebody trying to fix something, could be air sign trying to fix something, They do need to get out of something as well. So if it's an air sign, you may be saying that you may want to release them. That's why it's the Seven of Swords. You're making plans to release them. Or you don't want them involved in a situation anymore. You consider somebody to talk too much. That's why the Seven of Swords is right next to the Three of Swords. They may talk too much about something to a Sag or to a Prince of Wands, or to someone else external, like water sign. Or they may share too much of something with you. I get in the wrong place. They share too much information with you about something in the wrong place. Or they've done that with someone external, and I want that to stop. When I said that, you may want that to stop with the air sign. Because they may talk about something that you don't want revealed. I keep getting housing. It has to do with where somebody lives. Like where somebody moved to, buying a property in another state, buying a property in another country, insurance companies, like getting housing, where somebody gets housing insurance from. There's an issue there. If there is or there is not an issue there. But somebody is talking about that, and air sign. The air sign may be talking about that. So it could have something to do with a need that they have, if it's an air sign, or it's a need you have. Right? The Prince of Wands energy, I get back out. The Prince of Wands energy, they back out from a situation because that's why I said they want to disappear, or they're making themselves disappear from a business deal. Or they don't want to be seen. Somebody may not want to be seen with somebody for whatever reason, right? The star is here. That's why I said there was an air sign. There's an Aquarius here. You're thinking about an Aquarian, whether they are a man or a woman. They're in your mentality with the Prince of Wands. I get this idea of playing games. Like, if it's an air sign, that's an Aquarius, they may be playing games. Prince of Wands may be playing games. Like typically when people say play games, like they're not taking something seriously. They're not taking something seriously that you have going on here, or something that you're trying to conceal. Something that you're trying to conceal, they're not taking it seriously. Are you not taking something seriously? You know? Or maybe a Sag isn't. I keep getting this. The Sag, I feel like, is scared. Someone. The Sag is scared of someone. So that could be the Aquarian. Knight of Swords is in the future. That could be the Aquarian, or it's a Gemini or a Libra, but there's an Aquarian there. Prince of Wands. Somebody's afraid of somebody. You know, somebody's afraid. Somebody may be afraid of you. It just depends. Or are you afraid of someone? Temperance energy, 3 of Swords, 5 of Cups. You may be afraid of someone, but it has something to do with where you're living or where you moved to. I get this idea of down south. So down south could be down south of the United States, like Atlanta, Georgia, like Georgia, the Carolinas. You could have moved down there. I get a cheap house. You could have found a cheap house, Texas. You could have found a cheap house down there. Or that may be something you want to consider. Like, you may find a cheap house down there. And, whatever it is. But something about that you may not want, it has little information on. So the Aquarian has little information about your down south move that you want to make, or you made already, or you made it with a Sag, or they made it. That's why I said somebody not wanting to be found. It could be you or the Sag, somebody together, or you singular that you don't want to be. Somebody doesn't want to be found. They don't want to. I get something about an address as well. Something's going on with somebody's home address as well. A home address. So it could be the Aquarian's home address, or a Prince of Wands energy home address. Sag home address. I get share. You share a home address with a Sag. So you live with them, or you just use their address for something. Or they use your address for something if they don't live with you. Something's really important about that. Somebody's really scared of something. I don't know why. The Hangman, like I feel drawn to say that, and I felt something. The Hangman energy is in a changing position, right? The Hangman energy is changing because you're not stuck. It's changing because you don't feel stuck anymore about a situation. You don't feel stuck anymore, whatever that means. Like, you may not feel stuck. Whatever you were doing with a home, you don't feel uncomfortable about what you're trying to do with a home, or buying a home, or somebody buying a home for you, getting on using somebody's insurance, or sending your insurance to the wrong place. You didn't know it was a legitimate source, or it's an insurance company you didn't know was not a legitimate source. It is, or it is not a legitimate source. Or a real estate agent. Something may be false about a real estate agent that you're interacting with. Like a Prince of Wands, they have on a suit. You may be interacting with someone fake. You're interacting with someone that, for something they're trying to do, and something is fake about them. Like, fake in terms of personality, fake in terms of the occupation they're playing, that they're portraying themselves with. Like a fake real estate agent, like scam-like situation with, I get a housing property. There's a scam-like situation that you're not realizing that is happening here with a housing property. So that could be an apartment, that could be a house, that could be a condo, that could be a townhouse, that could be a studio, that could be a loft. There's a small home somebody purchased down south in Texas, in the Carolinas, in Georgia. I'm just giving examples. Louisiana. There's something going on with the insurance for those places, whichever one it is, like, or something not being legitimate about the insurance because something may not be right with a real estate agent, or something may not be right with a real estate, like an agency, to be specific. I get nosy. I'm looking at the star card, sign of Aquarius. They may be nosy, or they're trying to figure out what you did, or I didn't know you made a mistake. They know you made a mistake, but they know you made a mistake. They may be trying to give you breadcrumbs into the fact that you did make a mistake. It doesn't have to be a mistake. If you experience some percentage of this falsity, some percentage of it that's happening here is a falsity with something that you did, residential, home wise, business wise, something in there. The resolution has the Tower sign of Scorpio going towards the Knight of Swords energy. You may need to find a Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is an Aquarian. They could be a Gemini man. They could be a Libra male. Aquarius you have here in the flesh. Tower. The Tower is in the resolution. The Tower is in the resolution because need them out the way. You need a Knight of Swords energy out of the way. You need the air sign male, whichever air sign male, you need them out of the way. You need them out of the way. It's heavy that you need them out the way. That's why the Tower is there. The Tower is also there. Their presence. The Tower is there because of their presence in a situation. Their presence, I'm being drawn back to the word screw. Their presence may screw something that you have going on here. Or, I don't know, your presence, somebody's presence in a situation is screwing something up for somebody. It doesn't have to be, but screw can be sleeping with them. You may slept, once, you may have slept with them one time, or whether you're a man or a woman, the Aquarian, right here in the flesh, major arcana, Aquarian could be a female, and then Knight of Swords could be a male King of Swords energy. Somebody screwed the other one time, or how many times, and you may give them something. To keep quiet. You give them something to keep them quiet. You give them whatever it is you give them. It's to keep them quiet, whatever that means. Okay. It's to keep them quiet. It's to keep them quiet about where you live or where you're moving to. It's to keep them quiet about what a Sag is doing or where a Sag lives. It's to keep them quiet about what they're doing with what you're doing with insurance. Whatever it is, it's to keep somebody quiet. Whatever it is that's happening. That's why I said somebody was talking too much and whatever details. Somebody you move down south. Someone's going on with the insurance company that you're using for a house, moving down south with, or it doesn't have to be down south, but it could be anywhere in the world. But it's like somebody's trying to use documentation from another country, or maybe hiring somebody that is from another country to fill out paperwork, hiring someone or having somebody on board from another country that can fill out some type of paperwork for something. However somebody's trying to do that. Alright, let's look for outcome here, Aries. So this is happening directly to you, you're involved in it, or you know someone that is dealing with this. Okay? Something's going on. Hierophant energies here. You could be dealing with a Taurus. And then you have the Chariot energy, sign of Cancer, or you just need to travel. You may be looking for a new home. Something may be going on in the home you already live in, or something is going on here with a Cancer, or you're just traveling. You could be looking for a new house, a new apartment, a new whatever. Something happened in the old one. Something's going on. That's interesting. But so I keep getting this idea of nosy. Like a water sign energy may be nosy. Somebody may be really somebody's extreme. Somebody's nosiness is extreme. That is happening to you, or it's happening to the Sag, or it's the air sign. But they're a man or a woman. Someone's nosy that is going on with them. It may pertain to them, but something about their nosiness is extreme. Someone may want to throw someone under the bus for something. I don't know, for whatever reason. I don't know if you want to do that to someone, or they could have threatened to do that to you. But I get lack of funds. Somebody could have threatened to do that to you because of lack of funds that you told them that you were going to give them, or vice versa. or they're just nosy. They just want to know where you live. They want to know where you work. Right? They want to know where you live. They want to know where you live, where you work. They want to know where the Sag live, where they work, because it pertains to them. It pertains to money that somebody promised to give them. Or somebody's supposed to give. You're supposed to give them. Sag told them that they were going to give them. So the Prince of Wands energy, it knows where they are. Prince of Wands knows where an air sign element is. So you may be trying, 5 of Cups, 3 of Swords, 7 of Swords, you could be making plans to disappear. I get a dependent. You're trying to disappear from someone who you made a dependent. You could be their dependent. But I feel like they're trying to, come after. They're trying to come after you. They're trying to come after the Sag. They're trying to come after a water sign. But the Prince of Wands knows where they are. That could be why the Prince of Wands energy is disappearing. You may want to use your intuition into why they disappear. Like, however you want to look at disappear. Disappear could be like they were once helping you really well, and then all of a sudden they're gone. But the only reason why they're gone is because they had an interaction. They had an interaction with a Knight of Swords energy. They had an interaction with them. And that interaction caused flee. That interaction caused somebody to flee. You to flee, Sag to flee. Somebody to flee. Prince of Wands energy to flee. Whatever. But it has to do with secrecy and insurance and a home. And money being generated from something that someone is waiting for. You're waiting for, a Prince of Swords is waiting for. Let me do another outcome on the Chariot energy. Hierophant again. These cards are a little stiff. The Two of Cups will be, I get finalizing. Two of Cups is finalizing something with water sign. You're traveling to get something finalized. I get from a legitimate source. You're traveling to get something finalized from a legitimate source. So the legitimate source could be the insurance or a real estate agency. Something may not be as bad as you think, that is happening here with insurance or whatever, or you really didn't know what was happening with a job and insurance. You really didn't know something wasn't real with a real estate agent. You really didn't know something about the quality of someone or something or an agency or a person. That's why I was getting that idea of trying to get away from someone specific. Tower. Okay? Alright, Aries, let me know how it resonates with you. Be well. Take care. Bye.